So the last time we met, we started dealing with the different sub-branches of phonetics. And we said basically that we have three sub-branches. We have auditory phonetics, we have acoustic phonetics, and articulatory phonetics. And because of some reasons, we said that our focus would be basically on articulatory phonetics. And we said that in order to be able to understand what is involved in articulatory phonetics, the first step is first to be familiar with the different organs of speech or the constituents of the human vocal tract. I tried to make you familiar with, the different organs of speech, and we already spoke about the voicing dimension for the production of speech sounds. And we move directly to speak about different points or places of articulation. The first point we agreed on is that consonants and vowels are maximally opposed. Is it true or not?
Yeah.
Why? Why do we claim that consonants and vowels are maximally opposed?
Professor?
Yes, Khadija?
Because consonants involve the construction of air, while vowels, air flows freely.
Yes, we agree with you. Put differently. Yes, I'm waiting for an answer, please.
Professor, can I tell? Professor?
Yes, Abdullah?
Yes, Professor, can I tell?
Abdullali?
Yes, Professor. The difference between vowels and consonants is that consonants are speech sounds that are produced with a restriction in the vocal tract, and vowel have less constriction when it comes to articulating them.
Very good. Yes, this is what your classmate has just said. What I would like to emphasize is that this means that consonants and vowels do not share any common features. That's why we claim that they are maximally opposed. And what does this imply? What's the implication of this? This means that the parameters or the criteria that phoneticians do usually use in order to characterize consonants are totally different from those utilized to deal with vowels. Is this point clear?
Yes, Professor.
So that when we try to classify and describe consonants, we resort to three different parameters or factors. Who would like to remind us of these?
Yes, Professor. Can I tell them?
Yes, Abdullah. Yes, Abdullali. Abdullali. Yes. Yes.
The criteria in classifying consonant sounds or in articulating consonant sounds are three: voicing or no voicing, place of articulation, and manner of articulation.
Very good.
And
what about voicing?
Voicing?
Yeah.
Or vowels?
Other students, please. What does it mean?
Voicing, Professor. I go ahead.
Other students, please.
Professor?
Khadija?
Voice in it's when the vocal tract, when there is voice in the vocal tracts is the vocal tract are drawn together, but when there is no
It's
voice,
not
then
the
they are spread
vocal tract.
apart.
Pay attention, Khadija. It's not the vocal tract.
Yes,
The vocal cords.
Professor, it
yes,
depends
cords. Vocal cords.
the vocals are open or closed.
Go ahead.
Professor?
Yes, Abdelmoula.
Space sounds are described as being voice or voiceless depending on whether the vocal cords are open, in this case they are called voiceless, or closed at the time of speech production.
It depends on whether the vocal cords vibrate or do not vibrate. In case the vocal cords vibrate, what happens?
We'll be having a voice cancel.
Now, what happens when we claim that the vocal cords vibrate? What's the status or state of being of the vocal cords?
They become voiced.
Voice.
Yes, voiced.
No.
They are
I'm speaking
closed.
about the state of being of the vocal cords.
They are closed.
Very good. Yeah. Then in this case, we will be producing what?
A voice consonant.
Very good. What about voiceless consonants? What happens to the vocal cords?
They are open, and in this case, we will have a voiceless consonant.
That's great. Okay. What about point of articulation or place of articulation?
Professor,
Yes, Abdullahi.
Professor, the place of articulation is means, or literally means, that when the S stream is stopped, at what level in the vocal tract?
Another definition.
Officer?
Yes, Khadija.
Please. Okay.
It seems that there is a problem.
Professor?
Professor?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Warda or Khadija.
Can I repeat?
Abdelmoula?
The place of articulation is actually about in the interaction, the contrast between the passive articulator, which are basically the mouth, the roof of the mouth, and the active articulator.
Yes, it simply means that the places within the vocal tract where the different consonants are articulated. Yeah, that's the meaning of place or point of articulation. What about manner of articulation? Quickly, please.
Professor?
Yes.
Officer?
Yes, Talib. Sabah Talib.
When we talk about manner of articulation, we talk about how the sounds are articulated.
How?
Yes.
How? This is related basically to what?
Officer?
In the way they are pronounced. In the way they are pronounced.
Yeah, it is basically associated with what?
Professor?
Yes, Abdelmoula?
It's the interaction between the organs, such as the tongue, lips. interaction.
We said, I told you in class that this is basically associated with air behavior. You have to keep this in mind, in your mind, please. Whether air is going to be blocked during the articulation of consonants, or it's going to escape through a narrow passage, airstream, or it is going to be released, totally released. Then, manner of articulation, yes, I agree with you that it is about how consonants are articulated, but this how should be explained in association with air behavior, how air is manipulated, airstream is manipulated during the production of consonants. Is it clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. So far we have tried to cover, bilabials, labiodental, interdental. But if you just have a look on a page, you consider the book, please. Page 21. Yeah. Yes, please. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have here written dentals. So it is said that these sounds are produced with the tip or blade of the tongue approximating the back of the upper teeth. In Arabic, we are not speaking about English, we are speaking about Arabic. The sound the t and the d are dental in Arabic. The term interdental, then here we are dealing with English language. The term interdental is used to describe a pronunciation involving the tip of the tongue placed between the upper and lower teeth. And it's clear for the initial sounds which are found in words like those or teeth. So both the and th are interdental. And you know the phonetic symbols used for the voiced interdental sound is the and the, which stand for voiceless interdental sound. Is it clear?
Yes, Professor.
Now we shift to deal with alveolars. Alveolars. As I told you in class, the terminology that is used to refer to different places of articulation is basically related or corresponds to different articulators, to different organs of speech. For instance, if we consider here alveolar, automatically it comes to your mind that the alveolar ridge would be involved in the production of certain consonants. So that, as it is said in the book, these sounds are made with the tip or blade of the tongue approximating the alveolar ridge, the rough bunny ridge immediately behind the upper teeth. So it's clear enough that when you produce sounds like, in English basically, sounds like t, d, t, z, n, l. So you feel that, if you try it now, if you like, you will find that the blade or the tip of the tongue is pressed against the alveolar ridge. Bearing in mind that the alveolar ridge is that part which is immediately behind the upper teeth. So you have a number of examples which are taken from English language. However, it should be noted that sometimes, due to the influence of the environment in which a sound occurs, it would be correct to claim that some of these sounds are pure alveolars. Let me remind you of one important fact that you already dealt with, I'm sure, in first semester and perhaps in fourth semester. Are you following?
Yes. Yes, madam, I'm following.
Okay. It's the fact that the voiceless stops p, t, k are aspirated in two different environments. The first environment is when they are in the beginning of the stressed syllable, and the second environment is only limited to k and p. T is excluded, so that p, k are also aspirated when they occur before the liquids, I mean R and L. But it's not the case for T, because when we pronounce words like try or trial, then this is not aspirated T. No, it's not aspirated T. It is what is usually referred to as post-alveolar articulation. It is post-alveolar articulation. When T occurs before the liquid R, it is not aspirated. No, it is rather articulated as a post-alveolar sound. For what reason? Because in its production, the tip of the tongue approximates the border between the alveolar ridge and the palate. This is the reason why it is said to be articulate as a post-alveolar sound. It's not aspirated, it is rather post-alveolar. But, as it is claimed in the book, for the purpose of these five, we will only content ourselves with T as an alveolar consonant. Since we are dealing only with primary articulation, as we discussed it in class when we tried to make a difference between primary articulation and secondary articulation. Secondary articulation is what then, and what is primary articulation? Or if we try to compare the two, how would you make the comparison? Yes, please.
Could you repeat, madam?
I have said that we will content ourselves with T as an alveolar consonant, because we are at this step, at this point, interested only in primary articulation. I'm sorry, we are not dealing yet with secondary articulation. Then We try to discuss the difference between the two in class. Who would like to remind us of this difference?
Professor?
Who would like to speak? Khadija?
Yes. It's where,
okay, Khadija, the
where
floor is yours.
The articulation, thank you. It's where the articulation happens without being affected by other sounds and environment.
Very good. This is primary articulation. What about secondary? What about secondary articulation? Yes, please.
Professor, it's when sounds affect each other in different environments.
When we have a secondary modification which is superimposed on primary articulation. It's a kind of coloring of sounds. Could you give me some representative examples?
Madam, I didn't get the secondary articulation.
Huh?
I said I didn't get this secondary articulation.
You didn't understand it?
Yeah.
You didn't attend class before?
Yes, I did, but I think I forgot what does it mean.
Please, could you give me examples of secondary articulation for students who had the chance to attend the physical classes?
Professor, please.
Professor, we have another example in the book, which is k.
Which is?
K. The voices, the voiceless full stop.
No.
Yes, so
Professor.
Sabah.
Secondary articulation are like the process of nasalization. When we say, for example, C and sin, the vowel become nasalized near a nasal consonants.
Very good. Or aspiration, simply. P. When we speak about the consonant P, and we speak about its articulation, primary articulation, what is it then? For primary articulation, what is it P?
it's a voiceless bilabial stop.
Very good. Voiceless bilabial stop. But when we speak about aspiration, when we speak about P being aspirated under certain condition, is it part of primary articulation?
No.
It is secondary articulation, of course, because this P gets aspirated when it is in a given environment. It means that it is influenced by its position within the word. For primary articulation, we are not interested in the phonetic environment of sounds. We are not interested in the phonetic environment of sounds. As I told you before, we deal with sounds in isolation, as isolated entities. But for secondary articulation, we should pay heed to the phonetic environment in which they occur. And this is what is referred to as secondary articulation. As Sabah has just mentioned, nasalization is another case in point in addition to aspiration. Another phenomenon I shared with you in class is lip rounding. Basically, when we spoke about غراب in Moroccan Arabic, kubar, I said that these sounds, the first consonants are accompanied with lip rounding. And this is what is referred to as lip rounding or labialization. Labialization. Is it clear?
Yes, Professor.
Okay. Pay attention. You have to bear in your mind that in the exam, you may have this question. I mean, making a distinction between primary and secondary articulation, along with giving examples. You have to bear this in mind. Please, I have to make a stop for 5 minutes. Okay? 5 minutes, please. And I'm coming back.
Professor, take your time, Professor.
Yeah, it's okay.
هذيك المقلة اللي فوق البوطة دوك الطيبة تاع السكر جيبهم ملح. أنا غير ماشي تاكل دابا. ماشي تاكل دابا غتغطي دابا. Yes, dear students, I'm here again. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, Professor.
Palato-alveolars or alveopalatals. We call them palato-alveolars or alveopalatals. So, as the name suggests, these sounds involve two places of articulation. We have the tip of the tongue, which approximates the alveolar ridge, while the blade of the tongue approximates the palate, or what is also referred to as the roof of the mouth. Turn on the page, please. I'm in page 22. Yes? So English has 4 sounds of this type. The voiceless and voiced affricates, ch and j, and the voiceless and voiced fricatives, sh and j. Is it clear?
Yes, Professor.
So then, how would you explain the fact that 2 places of articulation are involved in the production of the affricates ch and j, or in the production of the voiceless and voiced fricatives sh and j? How would you illustrate this?
Is it, Professor, because they are articulated in the post-alveolar ridge? Or in the palato-alveolar ridge?
So we have two different places, as it is mentioned on page 21. The tip of the tongue approximates first the alveolar ridge, in which case we will be producing t and d, which are the first consonants of the affricates. And as a second step, the blade of the tongue will approximate the palate or the roof of the mouth, in which case we will be articulating the second consonants for the affricates, which are sh and j, or which are also fricatives sh and j. Is it clear? Yes, is it clear?
Professor?
Yes, Abdelmoula?
So are also sh and j palato-alveolar? Because we said that palato-alveolar, it consists of two places of articulation.
Yeah.
So and sh and j are also palato-alveolar.
Yeah. What about, are you following?
Yeah,
Are
I
you
am following.
following Abdelmoula?
Yeah, Professor.
Yeah. We have four sounds or consonants of this type. The voiceless and voiced affricates ch and j, and the voiceless and voiced fricatives sh and j. Is it clear?
Yes, Professor, it's clear.
Yeah. And you know that for the transcription of the affricates, this may vary. Sometimes we use the symbols, the first ones, and sometimes they are also transcribed as second sounds, which you have here, which are transcribed. It is said that the affricates are sometimes transcribed as ch and j. So these two transcriptions are the same. You may use them interchangeably, but it's better to use ch and j, I mean the first ones, which are mentioned before the voiced fricatives. Is it clear?
Yes, Professor, yes.
Okay. In addition to English, Polish, your permission to leave for 1 minute, please. Okay? 1 minute. Okay. So in addition to English, as I have just said, Polish has also two fricatives which belong to this category of alveopalatal. We have a voiceless sound and we have a voiced one. I can't, dare pronouncing them because I'm not familiar with Polish. And this is simply for your extra information. Of course, we won't be asking you about Polish or other languages, but basically about English language. English roar also is produced in the alveopalatal region. So, in American English, the letter T in water and party is pronounced as a flap or tap consonant. Okay? You have to bear in mind that we have two accents for English language. We have American and we have British. And you have also, we have also to keep in mind that in Morocco, we deal with British pronunciation, which is also referred to as received pronunciation. If we are making you familiar or informing you about other phenomena occur in American English. It is just for your extra information. Okay? So as I have just said, in American English, the letter T is pronounced as a flap or tap. Why it is so? Because it is produced by slightly curling back the tip of the tongue, then throwing it forward and allowing it to strike the alveolo-palatal area as it descends. So that's the phonetic symbol for this American English sound is this R, which is put between two square brackets. Is it clear?
Yes, Professor, it's clear.
Okay. Now we shift to palatals. In the pronunciation or production of these palatal consonants, the front part of the tongue approximates the hard palate. We have only one palatal consonant in English, which is also referred to as a semi-vowel. It is y, y. Speaking about English language, we have only one palatal consonant. It is basically y that you find in words like yes, yellow, yawn, yesterday, among many other examples. Okay? Now, I would like to stop at this notion of semi-vowel. You know that in English we have, and also in other languages, we have two sounds which are said to be semi-vowels, or also as glides. And these are the consonants W and the Y. Why, in your point of view, they are said to be semi-vowels? Why are they called semi-vowels?
Professor?
Professor.
Yes, Abdelmola.
Because there is little restriction of air. They are almost like vowel in their production.
Very good. They are called semi-vowels because they are more like vowels than consonants. Yes. Okay. So we may be considering or would like to consider other languages like German, so that it is said the fricative sound standing for. Who is familiar with the German language?
Me, Professor.
Huh?
I'm kind of familiar with German language. Yes, Professor.
Abdali?
Yes.
How would you pronounce the word that we have here?
There is two ways to pronounce it. It's either nicht or nicht.
Nicht.
Yes.
With y.
Yes, nicht. It's a voiceless, like y, but it's voiceless.
Okay, it's like y, but it is voiceless. And
yes.
it is fricative.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like
then,
it's like y.
Yeah. Then its place of articulation is it's basically palatal. It's basically palatal. But
yes.
unlike the y, which we have in English, which is voiced, this is voiceless.
Exactly. Yep. Yes, Professor.
Okay. And French has palatal plosives, as in K, platform. Yeah. Where the initial sound is a voiceless palatal plosive represented by the symbol K. And it also has a voiced palatal plosive as the one in the initial position of the word gap, wasp, represented by the symbol G. Italian, who is familiar with Italian language, Who is familiar with Italian language? Please.
Probably there's no one, Professor, here. That's fine.
No one?
Probably no one, because they haven't answered, Professor, I guess.
Okay.
They haven't
So
said that.
it is said that Italian also has a palatal nasal, as in the word, which stands for sign, represented by such symbol. And it also has a lateral palatal, which is standing for sun. Is it clear? Okay. Now, velars. Velar consonants. Are you still following?
Yes, Professor, we are with you.
Okay. Page 22. We are still dealing with page 22. So, for the velars, in their production, the back of the tongue approximates the soft palate. Okay. Several types of sounds can be made at this contact point. So English has the velar plosives k and g. So plosive is basically here referring to stops. Okay. English has the velar stops k and g, as in kit and get. It also has the velar nasal which represents the cluster nasal plus velar, as in sing, sing. Is it clear?
Yes, Professor.
Now, let me ask you the following question in order to make sure that you are familiar with certain issues which are related to the level of pronunciation and the level of spelling. Then my question is the following. What's the source of this What is its source?
It's Professor, the combination of the voiced velar sound, which is ig, and the nasal sound, which is n. So we combine them and we delete ig, and we add it and we say n, replacing the.
It's not the combination. It's the realization.
Okay, Professor.
It's the realization. Sorry. It's the realization of the combination of the nasal n and the g, or the nasal n and k, in which case it's going to be realized as k, as we have in. Is it clear?
Yes, Professor.
Then, where is this sound in spelling? Where is it? In the alphabet of the letters. Where is it? Does it exist?
Madam,
yes.
is in soft area of the reach.
I'm not speaking about the place. I'm speaking about, whether it exists or not in the alphabet of the letters.
Professor, typographically, we don't have a sound representing.
Very good. Very good. Very good, Anglaise. Yeah. It is, as you have just said, it is the realization of the combination of the nasal plus velar. Yes?
Yes.
Which means, or which leads us to say that we have big discrepancies between the level of spelling and the level of pronunciation, because we have many sounds which manifest themselves only at the level of pronunciation, but they have no place in the alphabet of the letters. And among these sounds we are speaking about, we have na, as we have ch, as we have j, sh, j, ye, and many other sounds. Is this clear?
Yes, Professor. It's clear.
So phonetically speaking, are we going to rely on the level of pronunciation, or we refer to spelling?
No, Professor, we refer to the level of speaking and sounds, not the typographical or the letters of
Very good. So phonetically speaking, we have to pay heed only to the level of pronunciation, how we pronounce sounds. Just forget about spelling, because spelling is misleading, phonetically speaking. Is this clear?
Yes, Professor.
Okay.
And especially in the level of vowels.
Yeah. Not only vowels, also consonants. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Then, finished with the k and the g and n, which represents consonants in English. Now we consider a sound standing for Scottish ch, or Spanish. I think that it's g in Gente. Who is familiar with Spanish?
No, it's gente, people. Gente.
Ah, ch.
Yes.
Ch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Then
naranja,
it is pronounced as gente.
Yes, yes.
Then ch is another velar sound, which is found in Spanish. And the voiced counterpart of this sound is, I suppose, ra or something like that. Yes, Mr. Abdelali? What is this
Yes,
sound?
Professor. It's r.
It is
like
r.
غني.
We
Like
also
غني
have it in Arabic.
Yes.
We also
غني,
have it in Arabic. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Abdelali?
Yes, we have an example which is غني or rich, which is r sound. So,
Yeah, it's r. Yeah.
So the sound, Professor, is
found
voiceless.
In Spanish. No, is voiced.
No,
voiced.
Professor, is voiceless.
Is voiceless. Yes.
I thought it was voiced.
Is voiceless, whereas is voiced.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clear
okay. Now. We move to consider the uvulars. Do we have any uvular sound in English language?
I suppose not, Professor.
Yeah, we don't have uvulars in English.
We just use it for nasalization.
Yeah, we only have velars. We don't have any uvulars.
Uvulars.
Then what are these uvulars? These are sounds articulated by making the back of the tongue approximating the uvula. Uvula. The first sound in Moroccan Arabic, qard. Qard. So q is a voiceless uvular. Yeah. And g is the corresponding voice sound which occurs in some Oriental variants of Arabic and Persian. For instance, in some varieties of Arabic, you find some people قرب ليا and others saying قرب ليا. Is this clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So both of these sounds, I mean q and g, are stops. Yeah. They are uvular stops. G is voiced and q is voiceless.
Yes, Professor.
And there is another uvular, which is a nasal uvular found in Eskimo. Yeah. We have another voice fricative. Basically, it's like a. Could you, deactivate your microphones, please? Are you following?
Yes, Professor, we are with you.
You are now unmuted.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we have another voice fricative or sound found in Arabic, and it is a variant of the velar gh, as in the initial sound of gharb. The voiceless fricative kh is also found in Arabic as in the initial sound in khamr, wine. Is it clear?
Yes, clear, Professor.
Pharyngeals now. Pharyngeals. Okay. They are not also found in English, but they do exist in Arabic and perhaps in other languages. In the articulation of these sounds or consonants, the root of the tongue touches the pharynx. The root of the tongue touches the pharynx. Try it with the
Yes, Professor.
Yeah.
I have also written and read a word which is called epiglottical sounds. Is it pharyngeal sounds?
Could you repeat, Mr. Ardali?
It's epiglottical sounds. Epiglottis.
Epiglottis.
Yes. Is it the pharyngeal sounds?
Perhaps. I will try to check it.
Yes, because I've written that they don't say that it's a pharyngeal sound, but they say it's an epiglottical sound, and I don't tell the difference. Yes, epiglottis. Okay, Professor. Yes.
Okay.
Hopefully, yeah. Yes, Professor.
So please try the pronunciation of h and h.
Yes.
And
so
there
are two counterparts.
What happens then?
Professor, I feel like the top back or the below my mouth or my root of my tongue is touching the
pharynx.
The pharynx, yeah. The other side of the pharynx.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So h is voiceless, fricative, of course, as in words like hope, habl, حرية, and so on. And the voiced fricative as in عين, عام, عمر, عبرة, etc. Okay?
Clear, Professor.
Glottals, the last class of consonants we'll be dealing with in relation to point of articulation, glottals. So these are consonants made at the level of the glottis. Yeah. The glottal stop is the hamza of Arabic, as in bi'r. Bi'r. Is this clear? It's It is produced within the glottis. Is it clear?
Yes, Professor, clear.
Then let me ask you this question. Can we claim that also exists in English.
Yes, Professor. In some variants of English, they do use sound.
Very, very good. Basically, American English. Could
And
you give me some examples?
Also in London accent. Or Cockney.
Yeah. Could you give me some examples?
Yes, Professor. In the place of saying better, they say better. Better, yeah.
They say la. Yeah,
Or
that's
water.
true.
Like we have, Professor, we have in English like about.
Huh?
About, like in the beginning. Yes, about. We have the in the beginning.
No. Pay attention. This is the schwab. It's a vowel.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, it's a vowel. It's not a consonant. Yeah.
Yes, Professor. Sorry.
Yeah. So this sound, I mean, is also used in Cockney English, replacing the voiceless stops ch and k. This is what you have just said. Yeah. Instead of saying letter, they would say la. And we have another glottal voiceless fricative, which is h, such as hat in English and huwa in Arabic. You have to bear in mind that both and h, which are glottals, are voiceless. They are both voiceless consonants. The voiced counterpart of this sound is the fricative h, often heard in English between voice sounds as in behave, and mahu. It's really difficult to argue for this. Just bear in mind that in English we have two glottals which are basically voiceless. We have and we have h. Also in Arabic we find these two consonants. Clear?
Yes, Professor, it's clear.
Okay, so the IPA chart you will find at the end of this file summarizes the most common consonant manners and places of articulation, basically on page 25. Okay? Now, before I shift dealing with different manners of articulation, I would like to emphasize the fact that phonetically speaking, we just forget about letters of the alphabet and concentrate on phonetic symbols. Phonetic symbols. Then what's the source of these phonetic symbols? What's their source? Where do they come from?
It's from the association of I think I forgot the name of the association, but it's a global association in order to use the same sounds in all the other languages.
International Phonetic Association. Or alphabet. Very good. Yeah. Why? Why was this alphabet initiated or invented?
Yes.
For what reason?
It's to ease the way people globally can understand the way a certain word is pronounced in a certain language. For example, I only need to understand the IPA in Arabic or be it in English in order to understand all the other languages and may pronounce them.
This is one pertinent answer. Do you have any other answers? Yes, please. I'm waiting for
Professor?
your answer.
Professor?
Yes, Khadija.
And also, when we need to have each where each alphabet where each alphabet corresponds to one sound, only one sound.
Yes. So let me elaborate on this. So, as I have just said, you find big discrepancies, mufaraqas, between what is found in the alphabet of the letters and the alphabet representing phonetic symbols. Because for certain words, like for instance the word sing, of course you will pronounce it as sing. Before you were made familiar with phonetics, you used to say sing, sing, ink, and many other words were pronounced the same way. But from now on, you have to keep in mind that there exists big discrepancies between the letters of the alphabet and the international phonetic alphabet. You will find words which are spelled in a way but pronounced differently. Then how are we going to cope with this situation or to overcome this problem? Since we would find, words written in a way but pronounced in a totally different way. It was not enough to keep only the alphabet of the letters, but scholars, linguists, phoneticians especially, were, obliged, or they deemed it necessary to devise, to invent another kind of alphabet, which would only represent symbols, phonetic in nature, phonetic symbols, which are used or manifested at the level of pronunciation, so that each phonetic symbol would correspond to a given letter in a given language. And the International Phonetic Alphabet is a big one because it represents almost all languages of the world. What we are dealing with at the end of this file is only a sub part of it. It's not the whole Phonetic International Alphabet. It's only a sub part of it. And this is, a reason why the International Phonetic Alphabet was invented. Is it clear?
Yes, Professor.
Yes.
It's crystal clear.
Professor?
Yeah?
Professor, can I add something?
Okay, Khadija.
And also the fact that there are no enough alphabets that can represent all the sounds that we pronounce.
Yes, yes. Another point I would like to draw your attention to is the difference that many phoneticians make between two types of phonetic transcription: narrow transcription and the broad transcription. And we have this on page 18. Back to page 18, please.
Yes.
Yes, please. It is said, page 18, please.
Thank you.
It is said that a narrow transcription is a maximally detailed specification of an utterance, recording as many phonetic characteristics of an articulation as possible, whereas a broad transcription does not contain any unnecessary phonetic details to specify a particular sound. It is less subtle than a narrow transcription, but it records all the relevant it records all the relevant characteristics of sounds, while a narrow transcription is enclosed between square brackets. A broad transcription is placed between slanted bars. Is it clear?
Yes, Professor, it's clear.
Then, please, a transcription which includes stress, aspiration, nasalization, and maybe other features, is it characterized, would you characterize it as narrow transcription or broad transcription?
It's a narrow transcription, Professor.
Very good. Now, why, Abdel are you saying that it's narrow transcription?
Because it gives us a lot of details about how the sounds are articulated and how the word is pronounced.
Very good.
It's giving us the diacrises and the stress and stuff.
Very good. So then this is narrow transcription because it is giving us details about the actual pronunciation of the sound. Yes? Then, how would you define phonetic transcription? Phonetic transcription.
Professor.
Yes, Abdul Mola.
So, phonetic transcription is a broad transcription.
Yeah.
The
How would you
transcription.
define it? How would you define what is phonetic transcription?
So it gives information about the pronunciation to show how words differ from other words.
Yeah, very good. So it is phonetic transcription, simply put, is the actual pronunciation of word. Yes?
Yes, Professor.
What's the difference between transcription and
before you were made familiar with phonetic transcription and phonetics, when you came across a new word when reading, for example, I'm sure 100% that you consulted the dictionary to look only for its meaning. You never paid attention to its pronunciation. Is this true or not?
Yes, that's true. That's true,
Yeah.
Professor, yeah. We did
Then,
so.
from now on, and I'm sure that many students are doing this, if you come across a word for the first time, you don't know it, you also need to check its proper pronunciation. This is very important because within a dictionary, you will find the first piece of information that is given to you is the phonetic transcription to make sure that you will pronounce the word properly. Yes?
Yes.
Then, after giving you the phonetic transcription, we would be giving
Madam,
the grammatical category.
Madam,
Yeah?
yeah,
Yes, Bushra?
yes, Bushra. Question, Madam. I just wonder if we are asked to make transcription in the exam.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
We have a number. Could you, Bushra, could you deactivate the micro? Yeah, we have plenty of exercises in this file, which you are required to do. Yeah, and we will correct them, of course. Yes, I hope that I have answered your question.
Yes,
now
madam.
unmuted.
Thank you.
Yes, I have been saying that the second piece of information that is given to you within a dictionary is the grammatical category of the word. That is to say, whether the word is a noun, a verb, an adjective, so on and so on. And also, if it is a verb which has an irregular past form, it would be mentioned. And also, if it is a noun which has an irregular form, it would be mentioned. And the third step is to give you the different meanings of the word. So let me, tell you that all these pieces of information are what is referred to as the lexical entry of a word. Lexical entry of a word. Lexical entry. So within dictionaries, we have lexical entries which include 3 different pieces of information. Yes, what is the first piece then?
It is the way that the word is pronounced.
Very
Or the
good.
phonetical
The second
transcription.
piece of information.
The irregular forms of the verb, of the word.
First, grammatical category, Savlali. Grammatical category. Yeah.
Yes.
And the third one? The third one?
It's the forms of the irregular ways to write that word.
Yes, Savlali.
It's the professor, the irregular forms of that word. Or the verb.
If we have certain irregular forms.
Yes.
Sorry. The last piece of information. The different meanings of the word.
Yes, of course, professor.
Yeah.
It has to have the meaning.
Then,
Professor, please.
Sabah.
Could you repeat these informations because I didn't hear you?
Sabah.
Please the idea about the informations about lexical entry because I didn't hear you. I didn't hear Mr.
Yeah.
Ali.
Yeah. Could you, Warda, could you deactivate your micro? Please, Warda.
Okay, madam.
Yes. To recapitulate, I have been saying that lexical entry of a word in a dictionary includes the following pieces of information. Number 1, the phonetic transcription of the word, which is likely to familiarize you with the proper actual pronunciation of the word. Number two, the grammatical category of the word. That is to say, whether it is a noun, a verb, or an adjective. Okay? And if we have a verb and it has an irregular past form, or a noun which has an irregular plural form, this is going to be mentioned. Yeah. And the third piece of information is the different meanings, because you know that we cannot have only one meaning for one word, but words can have different meanings according to the context in which they occur. Is it clear, Sarah?
Yes, Professor. Thank you so much.
Okay. So, these three pieces of information as I have just reiterated, fall under the heading of lexical entry of a word. Lexical entry of a word. Is it clear? And answering again, if you like, re-answering the question of Bushra, you have a number of exercises for practicing phonetic transcription. I would like you to do all these exercises and we will correct them together, okay? Because in the exam, make sure that you will have transcriptions, transcribing words. You will have to transcribe words indeed. Is it clear?
Clear, Professor, yes.
Yes. Please, I would like just to make sure that you agree with me on the fact that in addition to having these direct virtual sessions for both phonetics, phonology, and discourse analysis, I would also like to send you audios in which I try to explain different important issues. It means that we will be adopting a chronological order for explaining the different areas included in the book, and also the lectures that are already available for you on the platform for discourse analysis. Do you agree?
Yes, Professor.
Yes, please,
We would
Professor.
like-
Yeah, we would
we
love
would
so.
like to.
Yes, Professor.
Is it a good way for doing it?
You are now unmuted.
Yes, madam. Yes.
Bushra.
Yeah, we are agree. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Abdali, could you deactivate your micros, please? Yes. Is it feasible? Yes. Yes, dear students. Is it okay?
Yes, Professor, yes.
Yes, Professor. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yes, Professor.
Do you all agree to follow this way?
Yes, Professor, we agree.
Professor.
Okay, that's fine. Then, once I
Professor,
finish, yeah, Warda?
could you repeat
Yeah,
please
Warda.
that point about discourse analysis because I have a problem in my Wi-Fi.
In addition to the virtual sessions, we will be having on Tuesday from 10 to 12 and on Friday from 10 to 12, I will be recording certain audios in which I will try to explain the remaining areas within the book for phonetics and phonology, and also the content of the different lectures for discourse analysis that are already available for you on the platform.
Professor.
I should add that I will prepare the first lecture that we dealt with in class for discourse analysis, and I will be adding 2 more lectures dealing with 2 other different issues in relation to discourse analysis. Is this clear?
Yes, madam, it's clear.
Do you have any questions? Any complaints?
No, Professor. So the first and the second lectures of discourse. Yes, Professor. So the first and the second lectures of discourse analysis will be available on the platform.
Yes, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Sabah, do you want to ask some question?
Yes.
Sabah?
Professor, you give us an exercise concerning discourse analysis about the passage. The question tries to qualify the writer's tone in each of the following passages.
Very good.
You can you share with us the answer? So now the way we should answer the day of the exam. Because
okay, so could you send it to me via the email?
Yes, Professor.
Do you have my email?
No, Professor. If you can send it to us.
I will send it to Mohammed, who is the class coordinator, and he will be sharing it with you.
Okay, Professor. Thank you so much. Really
welcome. Houda, now, sorry. Any other question? Any other question, please? Any other question, please?
Professor?
Sabah?
I didn't understand the difference between narrow transcription and broad transcription, please, and I'm sorry.
It's very easy. You just go back, Sabah, to page 18.
Yes,
page 18.
Yes, Professor.
Yeah. You just read that small paragraph and you will understand. Let me repeat this, Sabah. Sabah.
Yes, Professor.
If you are asked to transcribe the word pen, how would you do that? Yes, Sabah?
I would transcribe it the P-E-N.
That's all. Then, if you simply transcribe it this way, it is the broad transcription.
Yes, Professor.
You know what? Not indicating that this monosyllabic Sabah.
Sorry, Professor, I have a problem with my Wi-Fi connection.
If you simply put P, A, and the, it means that it's a broad transcription. You know why? Because you are not indicating that P is aspirated, that N is nasalized, and that this monosyllabic word has primary stress put on this one syllable. I mean pen. If you indicate these properties of articulation, then it means that it would no longer be broad transcription, but it is narrow transcription. Is this clear? Sabah, is this clear?
Thank you. You can go.
Okay, so we will stop here. We'll stop here. And looking forward to meeting you on Friday from 10 to 12. So let's call it a day.
Inshallah.
So goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect.
Welcome.
Thank you, Professor.
Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you, Professor, for your time and for explanation.
You are most welcome, dear students.
واش دابا ما عرفتش نقراو نهار الخميس؟
No, we have class on Friday. We have class on Friday, virtual session. Because I know that on Thursday you have a class with Professor Shabani.
Yes.
Friday from 10 to 12.
Okay, Professor. Thank you so much.
Welcome. So bye.